Order. Tiffany, please take the roll.
Councilwoman Garvey. Present. Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman Bundy.
Councilman Bundy is in Boise trying to get a light for Highway 51, a traffic light. So he's battling that for the state of Idaho real quick.
Okay. Councilman Green.
Here.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum for September 12th, 2023 meeting. Really quick, council, I'm going to ask to change the agenda really quick to allow me to add one pool invoice to do a pay, 512, and then Tiff, you want to kind of give the quick synopsis of why to pay this invoice, the steel for the pool?
Yes. Mayor, Council, Mirtha Pools. The steel is in the Port of Italy. Arrived there the 1st of September. They began the fabrication. If they want 100% of the entire purchase before they ship the rest of our materials back to the States. So they're anticipating that to be the first part of October. So we could delay this to the 26th, but by the time we get it processed and through, I don't want to delay our project any further or our materials to come. So we got this invoice first thing this morning. So if we could have it pre-approved to have the prepaid out of this meeting, then we will ship everything onto Mirtha so we don't delay the project any further.
Where at in the agenda?
New business. Other side.
And this is the total amount for the pool materials. This would be the entire invoice to pay the pool material portion of what we owe on the project.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to add the invoice for the pool under new business.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to add the pool payment invoice to new business. Any further questions or comments? Sorry. Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
I thank you for that. All right, we're going to run down to department head comments and reports. We'll start with Shasta.
So this week is pretty busy. Tonight we have our adult craft night from 6 to 7. We have Boise State visiting our team coders, and they'll be providing us with new tablets for those classes, so we're excited about that. On Thursday, we have our junior hangouts, which is our tween and preteen age group. So from age 9 to 15, we're going to be doing a watercolor pet painting night from 5 to 6 on Thursday. We also have our gaming arcade where we get old gaming consoles and have them out for kids to play after school. That's on Friday at 3:15. And then Saturday, we have our presentation on petrified wood, and that's at 10 a.m. on Saturday. And then on the 19th, next Tuesday, is our after-hours Nerf battle for our teens, 12 to 18-year-olds. We also have our Friends of the Library meeting next Thursday, next week. And then just to let you guys be aware ahead of time, we have our family game night on the 26th, which is the last Tuesday of the month, from 5 to 7, and we just cataloged some brand new games, so check it out. And then the last day of the month, we have our Fancy Nancy Tea Party. In the past, we've done our American Girl Tea Party, but we thought we'd branch out a little bit and add some other storybook characters. So this year we're highlighting Fancy Nancy. So it's just a fun outing where we have a bunch of tea sets, and the friends provide all the fixins for it, as far as sandwiches and fruit and tea, and it's just a lovely time to get together. So we'll have 2 sessions. There won't be a registration for it, so it's a first come, first serve, first 50 through the door at noon to 1:30, and then another session 2:30 to 4. And that's the last Saturday of this month. And I think that's it.
Mayor.
Councilman Ware?
Shasta, quick question. Are you taking donations of old gaming consoles? Do you need them?
That would be great,
Have a
actually.
few. Okay. Thank you. I'll write that down. I'll meet with you next week.
Bets?
So thank you, council, for those that came out to the 9/11 ceremony. I think Chief Moore's group did an amazing job. Appreciate your guys' support there. As far as upcoming events, we have just booked this afternoon. I just clarified a lot of things with Leap Housing. They closed on their property last week and are excited to break ground on September 26th. 1 p.m. is the current time that she's going to check. My contact with Leap is going to ask one more question to her higher ups. So tomorrow you guys should be getting that invite for that September 26th. It'll be, I'm thinking 1 p.m., but you guys will get that confirmed invite to you tomorrow. So it's really exciting stuff. We also have been invited to be part of the Eastern Idaho Power's plan, essentially, their electrical plan for their next 10 years. So I believe it is myself and Chris Curtis will be going to those meetings over the next couple months, tell them where we think Mountain Home is growing, where we need more power. And they obviously take us into consideration along with everyone else in the eastern area, but it's kind of cool that we have a seat at that table, 2 seats at that table. It's kind of what's coming down the pipeline for us.
Chief Thompson.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. For us, AFAD went very, very well this last weekend. The park itself was relatively uneventful. The park gave us a few more events. We were able to reunite several lost parents with some worried children throughout the day. As far as the hiring front, we're continuing testing. The testing dates are early October for officer positions. We do have conditional offers out for a second lieutenant for our patrol division and a officer position also. So we got those 2 coming on board, hopefully by the end of this month is what we're projecting. And we are starting up to do the certifications for the new taser platform. That training's going on right now.
Perfect. Chief Moore?
Mayor, Council, I'd like to echo Becky's comments as far as their presence and participation with the 9/11 Remembrance Ceremony. It's certainly nice to have that support and your presence there at those things. Hats off to Betsy. She makes the job, as you guys all know, the boardroom. She makes her job really easy. She works, has a lot of organizational things she does that makes it easy for me and so forth. So I really appreciate you. Moving on to October, you get out there October 8th through the 14th is Fire Prevention Week. That is also the week, Thursday, the October 12th will be our open house at the fire station. You know, anybody that's participated in that thing, that's a big deal. So we're looking forward to that. We'll be ramping up for that and make sure that's successful. Training-wise, we're going to be working up in the sequel training this month. We're going to try to get a live fire bird possibly as early as tomorrow. Get with training guys to find out what they've come up with for scenarios. And the last thing that I have is the Bennett Mountain Transfer Station is going to provide training for our department. They're going to be installing some lithium-ion batteries up at their facility up there, which is going to be pretty extensive for us. But they're going to bring training up for us on that thing. And truth be told, I'm sure it's going to be something like this for us. But nevertheless, we'll be trained up to make sure that we do this. So, thank you.
I heard you got to break out your new extrication tools.
Yes, sir, indeed we did. We did. I say that with a smile on my face. I know that looks bad, but we've got the tools loaded on engine 12. We responded to a car fire on North Main and West Fifth there just before the crossing at Taco John's for a car that was, the engine compartment was on fire, working its way back into the cab of the car. The hood was closed on that thing, and we needed tools to get in there to open the hood to get to the fire to extinguish it. And engine 12 rolled up there. We were able to get the compartments off, break the tools out, and in very short order had the hood open, and were able to extinguish the fire. So,
Nice. Chris.
From P&Z, we're busy. We're very busy. We've got 2 or 3 PUDs that we're working. We're working a couple of conditional use permits. We have Colthorpe is going to come back around. Colthorpe Commons wants to amend their PUD. So we're staying pretty busy back there. I talked to Hank today. We're right at 100 doors, building permits approved this year. So things are busy in the back.
Fantastic. Rich?
Mayor, council, it's got about 3 projects. First one, the well project in the pipeline, the transmission pipeline. So they've been finishing up all the concrete work, the curb and gutters around Main and 10th. They've been working on the the driveways from the houses that with the new sidewalk, so putting those in there. So the plan is to get all the concrete done this week, and then Monday to pave everything out, so all the bike paths and everything. So that's kind of where they are right now. So hopefully Monday or Tuesday that'll all be done. So the sewer project, so we have 8th Street closed. They've been working there by 3rd. They did some testing the lines today, and they're going to they've been putting in some sticks. They're kind of all the way down to in front of the recreation center right now, getting some of the sewer lines in from right there. So that's moving along pretty good. And then so that'll be buttoned up at the end of not the end of this month, but the end of October. So they'll get that paved out and done. They'll shut down and then come back and finish the 6th Street part in the spring. So that's kind of, they just want to get one road done before they can still pave, and not have that other one open. And then 5th Street, we're getting on their schedule. Should be for the end of the month, be ready to go. So on 5th Street, that's kind of where we are.
Councilman Brennan?
We're ready to go. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, that's where they're getting us scheduled on there, so they have their jobs out at a couple spots, so they're getting everything scheduled out. But we're about on their schedule. It will have it done, so it'll be done for laid. Yeah.
Okay. What about the curb and gutter?
Curb and gutter probably will not. It's probably just going to be just a regular, not overlay. They're just going to mill it. We probably won't get. It'll be around the village and Haskett, that piece, but probably all the way down. We probably won't get any curb in. So they just can't get a concrete people to do it. So
Oh, really?
until late. So they want to get it paved out before.
So it won't have to get cut up when the concrete is ready to pour down 5th?
We'll probably just do, when we do whatever happens in that area, we'll just have to get the curbs put in there. So a lot of times they can just make a nice cleaner cut with what's going on and put it in there. So we just don't know what development's going to kind of go in there. We kind of have an idea where things going to go, but we're just going to leave it the way it is right now.
Okay.
So just get it paved so it's smooth and everything going.
All right.
And then the water lines, you can concrete those in, and the, you know what I mean, the valves and
Oh
the
yeah,
sewer. That'll all be done
they'll
too?
collar everything. Yep.
The color, okay. Okay. So Tiffany?
Mayor, council, the pool, so I gave you that update. You'll probably see Utility Concrete's working on putting in on the pump house, so you'll probably see some work happening over there. We had to make some adjustments to the design. Our surge tanks were, a portion of them in the engineering and architecture design, they were under our main structure building, so we've had to make a little bit of modifications, and Martin Utility actually caught that, so kudos to him. So they're working on that, so hopefully in the next week or two, maybe we'll see people over there actually on site working, which is a good thing. And then the steel coming back in, and then we'll have all the material on site and work through it. Hopefully it's not too harsh of a winter and we can pour some concrete and get it built. The personnel policy, hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have that sent out to you guys in draft form to review. And then if you could please send your edits or suggestions so we can have, hopefully by the 26th, the final policy approved and worked on by that evening. Election stuff, I'm working on that. And then cemetery, we're working on researching our cemetery fees, and then our new software system, getting that all updated. They actually are starting the drone imagery now, so it'll be available to the public once we have that software live in October. So that's all I got.
Paula?
Mayor and council, we're gearing up for audit, so in September there's some boxes that we check to make sure that we're closing out this current budget correctly and starting our next one in October the way we're supposed to. So we're just working through our daily work and getting all that done.
Councilman Brennan?
A few comments real quick. Chief Moore, I apologize I missed your memorial service. I had to work at that time. I remember it from last year. No excuse for missing it this year, but I'm sorry I missed it. For the AFAD event, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to everybody that participated, specifically our street department, our police department, and all the volunteers that helped. Like, it was just an incredible event, and from my perspective, it comes along seamlessly after, I'm sure, many hours and hours and days of work to go into that. A fantastic event. One comment, and that's not really for this group to control, but the guy that's doing the burnouts, I think, is a little unsafe and inappropriate in that event, and I hope they can calm him down a little bit. That's burning his tires out on our road with all the kids sitting all around him.
Councilman Brennan, I can say, I believe I know exactly what parade float you're talking about, and they were asked to leave the parade between Big Smoke and Carl Miller.
Okay.
So we, I'm gonna switch gears, as a FAD chairperson, volunteer here, not as my city job, but ironically. Yes, there was a lot of warnings issued, and as an AFAD committee member, we all saw the safety problems, we all gave them warnings, and at a certain point I did tell Mount Hope PD to pull them if you have to give them another warning.
Oh, wow.
From what I gather is they were asked to leave the parade. So we did see the safety problems there and
Okay.
fixed it accordingly.
Not that I don't want them there, just the actions, you know.
We agree
could
100%.
Be
We saw
calmed
the
down.
safety concerns.
Yeah. I think that's all I got. Thanks.
All right. Daniel stole my thunder, or Councilman Brennan stole my thunder, so I will say that that the City of Mountain Home's volleyball team did come out with a win over the Commanders. First play in, roll my ankle, fall down, scrape my hand. I think our average age was, I had to have my son play, so that brought the average age down a little bit, but we did all right, squeaked out a win. They came to play. It was fun. It was good time, good banter, good sportsmanship too. Kudos. Yeah, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And I told you that the other day. Councilman Renner nailed it right on the head. It seems like it goes out seamlessly, but I know you put you and your team put a lot of work into that.
The committee.
Correct. So give the committee a big, huge shout out. 9/11 ceremony as well. Thank you for keeping us all on track too. But Chief, it was cool to see your officers and your firemen, and it was really neat to see the everybody participate. It was, you had that Elmore County extrication crew there. You had the ambulance crew there. So it was in the police department. It's cool when you play for different teams, but you're on the same side. So that to me was pretty awesome. And it was also neat to see our family members 10 miles down the road participate as well. I'm excited for the LEAP charities. Oh my God, that's been a thorn in my side. Well, not a thorn, a good thorn, but it's taken, about 3.5, 4 years to get them to fruition.
Yes.
So that's another development that is more toward workforce housing. So it'll be 60 units at workforce housing rate, and then 10 of those units are market rate, if memory serves me correct. But it's been a long time, so we're excited. So with that, I will be quiet. Oh, Councilman Brennan?
Can I do one more thing?
Yep.
The Chiefs, is there any advertisement we need to do for a specific event this next weekend, if it's still happening? I haven't heard much. A little softball game?
No, that got canceled because somebody else decided hunting was more important than interest in cooperation.
Oh, so is that a win by default then?
I'd say so.
Okay. They should show up just to claim the win.
Caveat there,
Yeah.
default is probably the only way we would have.
That's because they have so much extra time on their hands to practice.
Yes.
Well, I don't understand. You only need 9 people. All 30 of you guys are going to go hunting? And gals?
Just the ringer. It was, we'll be there next year, but we do need to work on the scheduling a bit.
And then I forgot the donations, the donors for AFAD. All the food donors and everything, huge shout out. Keep it up. Thank you.
All right, with that, we will run down to presentation. Media Hush present about the GPT AI using bots for the city's website by Jeremy and Jonah Hochstrasser. Introduction by John Hochstrasser. Come on up.
All right. Mayor Sykes, council members, always a pleasure to address you guys. And today I have the special honor to introduce my best accomplishments, Jeremy and Jonah. Jeremy is the CEO and chief CEO and the owner of Media Hawk, and Jonah is the managing CEO. When these two guys get together and collaborate, great things happen. When they were 10 and 11, they wrote up this gaming program on a popular gaming kids gaming site. They had 100,000 hits. 100,000 people looked at their game that they made, and they had over 1,000 people playing it at one time. This was when they were young, and they've done things like this all their lives. They're both Eagle Scouts. They both have their palms, and they both have a letter from Senator Risch congratulating them on their accomplishments. I don't want to take any more time because I was scolded for even trying to get up here and introduce these guys. So without any delay, Jeremy.
Thanks, John.
Thanks. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Sykes and City Council members. I want to start off by saying I'm very nervous. So if my paper's shaky or a stutter, you can laugh at me. I am a computer science nerd. I'm not a public speaker. So until then, I'd like you to play around with me for a moment. Imagine having a dedicated helper who is available 24/7, works for the government, and can assist citizens with any questions or concerns they might have instantly. That is exactly what artificial intelligence support bots can provide for the city of Mountain Home. My name is Jeremy Hochstrasser. I'm a graduate from Boise State University. I graduated with my bachelor degree in computer science and an emphasis in cybersecurity. As John stated, I've founded my own company that specializes in software engineering and artificial intelligence automation. Today, I'm excited to introduce a revolutionary technology that can help our beautiful city of Mountain Home. My extensive background in engineering and computer science has provided me with valuable insights into emerging technologies. It has taught me to identify innovations that can improve the daily lives of our citizens and the efficiency of our local government. Unfortunately, I can't do anything about our federal government yet. The technology I'm excited to bring to you today is called BotPress. BotPress is a software used by engineers to design artificially intelligent support bots. Over the past few months, I've been working closely with the BotPress team and have learned the benefits of this software. In depth, the features of this software I am thoroughly convinced, will help support our city government. I've created a video that I want to present because the video is probably not as nervous as I am. I probably won't stutter as much. So I'll go ahead and play that for you guys now. If the audio will play.
It could be our. It's probably on our. You want to turn the speakers up, Rich?
Betsy's got it.
Oh.
I don't think. I might try on. I came in early so that I wouldn't do this, but
This was working effectively at 4:35.
yeah. There we
Whether
go.
it's answering questions about
Okay.
city services
Good
or
deal.
ever considered the hurdles Mountain Home, Idaho's city government might be grappling with in terms of time and money, let's delve a bit deeper into this. Day in and day out, the city faces an enormous task of managing countless inquiries from citizens. Whether it's answering questions about city services or resolving issues, the city staff is continually stretched to its limits. This not only puts a strain on their time, but also takes a toll on the city's budget. Think about it. The more time and resources spent on answering these inquiries, the less there is for other critical city operations. It's a cycle that seems never-ending, isn't it? But what if there's a solution that can help overcome these challenges? A solution that has proven successful in similar cities. Take the city of North Las Vegas. Nevada, for example. Not so long ago, they were grappling with similar challenges to what Mountain Home is experiencing now. The city government was overwhelmed with the volume of inquiries and service requests, and they were struggling to respond in a timely and efficient manner. This is when they decided to embrace the future and implement AI chatbots from BotPress. These aren't your run-of-the-mill chatbots. They're intelligent, adaptable, and designed to handle a wide range of inquiries. From answering questions about city services to guiding residents through complex processes, these chatbots took on a significant portion of the workload. And the benefits they've seen? They're nothing short of remarkable. Since the implementation, the city of North Las Vegas has seen a dramatic increase in efficiency. The response time for inquiries has plummeted, and the city can now provide round-the-clock service without the need for additional staff. This has not only improved the city's relationship with its residents, but also resulted in significant cost savings. Imagine a world where residents get immediate answers to their questions, where city staff can focus on more complex issues, and where budget savings can be redirected to other important city projects. This isn't some far-off utopian dream, it's the reality in North Las Vegas. The success of North Las Vegas city government is a testament to the potential of AI chatbots. Imagine what such a solution could do for Mountain Home. Picture a world where your city government is streamlined, efficient, and accessible round the clock. With AI chatbots from BotPress, you could save valuable time and money while enhancing services for your citizens. Think of the possibilities, the ease of communication, the prompt response, and the overall improved experience. It's time to embrace the future. It's time to consider AI chatbots from BotPress for Mountain Home, Idaho's city government. Now quickly, I'd like to show you a bot I built as a demonstration for Mountain Home's fiber optics infrastructure. You can ask simple things like, what are fiber optics? The bot will respond with what fiber optics are. They use a small strand of glass to transmit light signals. You can ask very specific questions since it's trained on Mountain Home's fiber optics infrastructure plans. Since the bot is intelligent and trained on what Mountain Home's plans are to install fiber optics, it knows how to respond to the user. The user can ask questions like who is eligible. The bot will respond if your home is in the local improvement district or the LID. You can ask what fellow citizens are saying. The bot will provide you with a link to the YouTube video where the mayor interviewed citizens and asked them what they thought about it. You can ask the bot how to sign up, and the bot will respond with instructions and a link to sign up for Mountain Home's infrastructure. You can ask about how much it costs to sign up and install fiber optics. The bot will break down the costs into different transactions, such as the installation fee, the utility fee, the internet service fee. It will provide you with monthly payment options. And finally, you can ask the bot if you can contact a human. You can say, I'd like someone to reach out to me. The bot will ask you what your information is, and since it is artificially intelligent, you can provide the bot with your contact information in any form that you'd like. The bot will recognize what the format is and save the information to be sent over to somebody on the city council. You can visit mediahawk.com/Mountain Home if you'd like to play around with it yourself.
So, I lied because the video was actually as nervous as I am right now when I was filming it. So I actually used artificial intelligence to clone my voice and put it on the background to speak for me on the video. So I firmly believe that artificial intelligence is encapsulating all the technologies that we already use today, and I am a great believer that it would be able to benefit Mountain Home's efficiency. So I have some business cards that I want to hand out to you guys in case you have questions or want to know more, or if you immediately pass them down for me. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Council, you got anything for Jeremy? Councilman Brennan?
Jeremy, what are the potential risks or dangers with artificial intelligence?
It depends on where exactly you implement it into the city. So anything that's already public knowledge, such as like the Mountain Home Fiber's website and the infrastructure and all the details there are already public knowledge. And that's how I was able to build that demo chatbot. So anything that you can train the model of AI on everything that you have public, rather than trying to implement it straight into databases or personal information or very specific information about how Mountain Home functions. So as long as you keep the AI model trained on what's public, there's no risks.
Is it essential? Sorry, I'm dumb on this stuff. Is it essentially like a smart search engine for the website?
Kinda. So with this bot, it can actually learn from what citizens ask it. So it'll keep track of how many people are asking what questions, and it can learn that certain questions are more likely to arise than others, and it'll kind of lead with answering those questions in certain ways sometimes. It depends on how you want your model to be trained.
Hey, Betsy, you got anything? I usually have questions for stuff like this.
Yeah, no, we briefly met a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago now, with John and got kind of a rough overview. And that is why we suggested for them to start on the Mountain Home Fiber website, just because it was much more simplified than our main website. Our main website is very robust. So I imagine that would take a lot more tracking and a lot more time. But I mean, I think it really comes down to, everything on the website that's public out there. I mean, they were able to build this without any credentials from me. So I didn't give them any back-end access to the fiber
So
website.
I guess my cost. What is something like this? So obviously it'd be a link on our city site that you click it, ask question or whatever, and then the bot pops up.
Yeah, so it would be like, oh, I don't have internet here. It'd be like a little chat bubble that pops up in the bottom right.
So it says ask a question.
Yeah, you can prompt it to say whatever you can even prompt it to ask the first question to the user. So it could pop up with a little message icon down there and say, hey, you've been on our site for 30 minutes, can I help you with something? Or you could go right away and be like, hey, I'd be glad to help if you have any questions. The features that you can train these bots to implement are theoretically limitless. So depending on the credentials, but we could implement like maps into it too, so that you could use the fiber optics LID, local improvement district, and tell the very specific user whether they are eligible or not, depending on where their internet's coming from.
So can I say, hey, I want to reserve a park? It'll answer what link I have to go to, everything.
Definitely.
But essentially that way.
Definitely.
Okay, obviously the $1 million question is, what does this cost?
So my dad is making me give you guys a better price than I normally do, but I actually went ahead and printed off some different pricing options and packages depending on the features that you want implemented. So if you wanted a user to be able to get onto the bot and just say, hey, I want to reserve this park for this day, and have the bot automatically implement the automation to go reserve that park for you, it'd be a little more in-depth than something that is like just that support bot on there saying, here's the link to go book it yourself.
So then you guys come here, work with probably Betsy and then department heads with their each individual department, and then you set all this up.
Yes, sir.
That way.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, I don't know.
Yeah. We could, I mean, theoretically, since everything's available online, we could just like even meet over a Zoom meeting or a Microsoft Teams and be able to set it up. But that would probably require credentials in order to access the back end of the websites that you guys currently have. So meeting in person might be better, and then you don't even have to give me any credentials or MediaHawk anything.
I know you two girls got something. No?
Mayor, I was fortunate enough to meet with John and Betsy. We did like Betsy said, suggest fiber just because we knew it had a lot of public outreach and a lot of questions already, which was apparent in his presentation. In meeting with John, there were some concerns on some of the other like common questions we get asked as staff daily. Like the cemetery, I don't know how, and a bot probably can, so please don't think, but I don't know what. They're so custom, the questions, and they're unique that I don't know if the bot would work there, but it may very well. So it's very interesting and it's technology, so I definitely think fiber or some of the basic questions that we get are definitely helpful. And then a lot of the public record requests, that was the other thing, that some of the documents that they're out there and their public outreach at fingertips to people, if the bot can deliver it to them, then that saves staff time. So
well, and these bots don't have to be pre-programmed with questions, so you could train the AI model, have somebody get on who asks a question that you never trained the model on, and it'll learn from its knowledge bases and provide a educated answer. You can also give them access to the internet, so it can have all of the internet's resources to try and make that educated response to the citizen, or you could use it as a calculator and say, what's 4 plus 4? You don't have to pre-program the questions into the artificially intelligent bots for it to have an answer for you. And they'll also keep track of analytics too. So if there's a question that's being asked to the bot more than the rest, we can have the bot notify us, and then we could go on and say, look, these people are all asking questions about the time that this event is going on. Maybe we need to make that more known and visible on the website so that people don't have to go to the bot. It'll just give us insights as to our posting.
So Las Vegas is the current one that you guys use?
Yes, sir. They're using BotPress. They're not through MediaHawk.
Okay.
They're using BotPress, yeah. I've built AI bots for different real estate agents in the city of Bend, Oregon, and they use it to provide information about their listings, so somebody can get onto their bot and say, I have a family of 6. What is a good bed or a good house for me? And then it'll come back and say, well, you have a family of 6, here's an 8-bedroom house, so you can have 2 playrooms for your 2 children, your 2 infants, and you and the rest of your family can each have their own room. And I've trained models for real estate agents.
Cool. All right, council, you got anything for Jeremy and his team?
I have one question. On the 4,000 messages, on the messages a month, is that the bot's messages or is that the citizen message?
That's the message sent to the bot. It's using the API call. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Councilman Brennan?
And that's not a conversation. It's one line you hit enter
request,
and
yep, one
that's a
request
message.
to the model.
And so what package would be if the whole city went live on this for every department and everything? What I see under basic, it says single bot press support.
Mm-hmm.
What's a single bot?
Just the one bot, the one bot on one website.
For the entire City of Mountain Home website?
For the specific website. Well, it depends on how many AI models you want trained. So if you want one model trained on every department of Mountain Home, or if you want very specific models for specific departments.
And this is a monthly price.
The monthly price is down at the bottom, and then the
support.
And then the big price on the bottom is just the installation.
Well, the big price is just a one-time install.
Just a one-time installation.
The monthly is the monthly maintenance and support only.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Have you done any other municipalities?
I have not.
Okay.
Mountain Home will be my first.
I was looking at City of North Las Vegas, 275,000. Imagine they get a few more requests.
Yes, yeah, that one's not me. Not yet.
Okay. That's all I got.
Okay.
But after they get your endorsement, we're going to go worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
All right, council, anything else? All right, thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys for your time.
You did good.
Thank you very much.
Moral support is 75% of it. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, council. We're going down to conflict of interest declaration. Has any council received information pertaining to or otherwise had any contact with any person regarding any items on this city council agenda? If so, please set forth the nature of said contact. Anything on this council agenda? All right, we'll run down to the consent agenda. Is there anything from A to M that you want to get further clarification, you want to pull, you want to talk about? If not, do I have a motion?
Mayor.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Item D, the write-offs.
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming this is a Paula question. Is that minus their deposits?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
these will be like deceased members of the community or.
Yeah, I see where they say deceased. Okay, so that takes in account. So the deposits come off our books as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
They all,
Okay, Mayor, I'll just keep going.
Okay.
E, question number 6, or not question number 6, excuse me, number 6. Submit a budget within the first month of the contract period. A budget for what? On Marty's attachment A.
Probably for where he'll be going, what's he been doing, is what I'm going, let me find it here.
Is that for upcoming 23-24?
I don't want to give a wrong answer, but I would assume so. But I don't want to give the wrong answer, so we can clarify that. Where the heck is it?
And you
Go
can
ahead.
answer it. She's just waiting.
Sorry.
In last year's budget, there were no expenses outside of the contract that Marty supplied. So I would think if he needs a computer or any additional supplies outside of contractually what we're obligated, he would submit that, but we did not do any of that.
So the planning budget is just for things like computers?
Say he went like travel required for us or the military.
What
those
line
are-
item does that come out of?
Paula, I'm gonna pick on Paula now.
Oh.
Mac pays some, and
I
we
saw
pay
that.
some, don't we?
Yeah, if Marty travels and asks for reimbursement, and again, I don't think he has, but it would come out of meetings, schools and dues, which is 0141556.
Admin.
Yeah, in admin, yes, ours, yes.
Okay, and then last question on F, the grant for the roundabout up on Highway 20 essentially. So I understand this is an ITD grant, but have we explored what the actual cost of a light would be versus a roundabout? $1,900,000?
Answer that, Mayor Kess.
Go ahead.
It's too close to the interstate to put a light. So we have explored that, but because it's the highway off, or the freeway off ramp, it's too close to that, it could back up into that. So the roundabout was ITD's, that's the best,
That's what their wishes are.
only solution to put there.
So it's only at the off-ramp, not the on-ramp area, where people are coming off from Twin Falls gets backed up pretty bad too.
Yes. So
that's going to alleviate the problem all the way up Highway 20, or is it just going to alleviate the problem
it's just going to alleviate the
at
problem
the
on
one
April.
spot
Yeah,
for
just-
$1 million, almost $2 million? Yikes. Are there plans to go further north?
I'll let you, their plan is to do a spooey up there to change the off ramps, and like I guess you would antiquate it to like Vista or Broadway, where you come up and you can go to the right, or you come up and go. That's what their plan is for that section.
I just wonder if this is not a little bit, of course we haven't gotten the grant yet, so we don't know that it can happen because I know we don't have the money for this. However, maybe this is a conversation we need to have. Does this fit in our future planning, right? Is this the answer to that intersection going forward with the plan.
Their engineers actually, Mayor Council, their engineers are actually the ones that drew it up to put
Okay.
there.
Okay.
And so this is just for, most of this is kind of the shovel ready, so, we do kind of fit in that to score. I don't know how well we're gonna score with it, because they really want to spend this money like tomorrow. So our grants, including the design and then the construction, the whole thing is for design and construction.
And that's purchase of the property, land around it?
Mayor, Council, the nice thing is we already have some of it, so
What's the right-of-way? Do you know? What's the right-of-way around it then?
So we have, where Grombeck wants to put that one, so that, he's already planned and already has dedicated the right-of-way for this drawing before. He actually put that in a long time ago.
And Wendy's and...
And then we've talked to Wendy's and McDonald's. McDonald's, they're good with it. They want to maybe change, they would like to change where their access is, so they're behind it. We just got to fix a few things in there, and same thing with Wendy's. So, and then we have the Pioneer, we have that corner also, so it's ours. So the right-of-way is kind of already there.
So it's
We
there
just
to
gotta
make
work
it
on
bigger?
moving. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Those are my only questions.
Thank you.
Councilman Brennan?
Item L and M, they're about surplus. Let me make sure I got the right specific.
It is. Surplus.
Which one has the tasers on it?
Oh.
I think it's L.
Yep.
Regardless of which one it is. L, thank you. The old out-of-use taser donation intent that we'd like to move forward with, I just wanted to say on the record that I think it's important for the city to get a receipt for where they're donated at with the serial numbers and to where they're going, and have them sign it or whatever. Normally with, I don't say this because with surplus, as soon as it's done, it's gone, right? And with a weapon, I think it'd be good to have on record where it went to. And the chief said he's fine, and I think that was his intent already.
Yeah.
So if we can just make sure that that's part of that deal. Thank you.
I made the note.
Mayor?
Councilman Werby?
Okay, I have to ask a silly question. Surely you just don't give the tasers away to non-qualified people, right? I mean, they go to a...
Very small.
Yeah.
Don't have the budget to do it.
Okay, okay, all right. Good.
All right, council, any other questions?
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
make a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green? Aye. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey?
Aye.
All right. Run down to old business, Mellon Water District. How we doing? Go ahead.
Should I take that one?
Soft.
Take this one.
You can take Paul's seat.
My name's Erica Pedroza, and I'm representing Mellon Water District again. So we got our video. It's out being reviewed right now. Hopefully we can get a response soon. We sent it to a couple different places to get it reviewed, and then we can find out what the root cause is. And then we have already reached out to 3 different drillers to see potential of how much that would cost. I do know that the well is over 600 feet deep, so one of them already said they don't have the equipment to even go down that far. So we're already trying to start to find some vendors that could help us fix the pump if that's what it's going to get to. As far as the attorney, we're working with Julie Fisher. Right now, she said she doesn't need anything, but she did ask if the city wants a letter from her so that you know she's representing our district. I don't know if it's necessary.
It'd be good for Paul.
Paul, are you copacetic with that? You want a letter?
No, it's not necessary. I mean, if she wants to. Did you say Julie Fisher?
Yes.
What firm is she with?
Fisher firm? She's from Nampa. I know the names in it. There's a couple other partners on there.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Anything else, council? I guess ETA on that, I guess?
We
Best
were
guess.
hoping we would have it by now. I did reach out to them this morning and they said they don't have, the staff to review everything and get us information back. I'm hoping to have better information for the next one.
Okay.
I did want to know, kind of as we're getting closer, once we get a result on the root cause of what's causing this, to find a solution, do we need to meet with the city outside of here and who would I meet with?
Paul, what do you want to do? What do you recommend?
At what timeline? You mean when you guys have a plan of what you're going to do?
Yeah, so the idea is to find out if there is, what the root causes of this that's causing the pump to continue to break down. And then once we know what the root cause is this something that we can fix? Or is it something that we need to start talking to the city about transitioning or what's going to happen next? I would like to start those conversations now rather than later.
So I think...
Yeah, the former that you mentioned, obviously, like Mr. Keaty should be there. As to if it isn't going to be workable and how we move forward, then that's probably something that Julie and I would be at. But I don't think you need us if it's looking like it could be fixed. It's just the question is how is it going to be fixed and all that. We just need the engineering and those type of experts to figure that out.
However, if they are going, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna
Tiff.
take over. Paul, if they are able to fix their well, then we'd have to work up new land lease documents.
Right.
Because their current lease is expired.
Yes. I mean, at one of these meetings, obviously, I'm going to have to be at. It's just a question on whether I should be at the first one when you guys are discussing how to flush toilets and the like.
Okay. Thank you.
So I guess, can you do us a favor?
Yeah.
Once you, say you get your answers tomorrow or next week, that we don't, you
Wait
can
till
zip
they-
those off to Tiffany and to Rich.
Okay.
And that way, and then she can zip it off to the council, that way we can know what the
Yeah.
status is, or
Yeah, because I imagine once we have more information, we're able to make decisions faster, and I would kind of like to see that happen.
And we can call special council meeting if it's something that you need to get it done sooner rather than later, and I'm sure this council would be willing to expedite, obviously we want to be good neighbors and help, so.
Absolutely.
Okay. Councilman?
Question, have you hosted a full, neighborhood meeting yet?
No, we have not.
Okay, what's the intent there to find out? Are you waiting to see?
Yeah,
if it's
because I
fixable
don't-
and how much money it's gonna cost?
Yeah, so a couple of things, if there's no option to repair, we gotta let them know this is what's gonna happen to our water rights and how we're gonna continue to receive water. Or if it is gonna change, I don't know if we might have to increase our fees, or to make some changes to our current meters. I don't know. So I don't really have anything, I don't want to alarm anybody or cause more.
Sure. I'm not in your boat by any means, but I feel like early information is good because your citizens of your neighborhood might need to start saving money, because no matter what the result is, there's going to be a really big bill involved.
Yeah.
And then you're going to try to collect that from the residents.
Yeah, and I had looked into some grants, but I really can't apply for anything until I know what I need.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I'm hoping as soon as we can get this answer, we can start moving forward on finding a solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll leave it at that. I think it's important to start at least the information process to let them know that there's a big bill coming.
Yeah,
If you need to,
I do appreciate that.
council chamber's always available. If you need to host a meeting with you and
Okay.
your constituent, or your constituents, your people, you can do it here. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Anything else, council? Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks, Erica.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Erica.
All right, run down to Well, there were no items removed, so I'd say, I guess it would be item number 2 of new business, the pool bill.
That's 6.
6.
Oh, never mind. Yep, let's go to 6. We'll make that 6. I had it in the wrong spot. All right, let's go down to deliberation decision of city staff recommendation for Joe Garza to operate the city motocross track at Optimus Park. Council, what do you want to do?
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Is Joe the only one that expressed interest in this?
Tiffany, will you go?
Yeah. Mayor, council, actually, we put this out, you probably can remember, for a request for qualifications the first of the year, this and the BMX track, with a close date of March 3rd. We had no interest at that time. It actually is still sitting on the city website. Joe happened to walk in probably the end of July and said, what's going on? How can I do that? And they said, submit your qualifications and we'll go forward. A week later, we had another individual, same interest, and probably a day after another guy came in. It was like Joe opened the floodgates.
Word got out.
Yeah, it was, which is good. Then we had we decided we had all of them submit their qualifications. We reviewed them. We had a committee of 5 do an interview. We sent out questions to the committee to score how or who they thought met. Some of the questions were, and Rich, you can help me on that. Do they meet the needs to the citizens? Do they meet the goals and objectives to the city of Mountain Home? Knowledge base, track knowledge, those type of things. And Joe is the one that scored the highest out of the group, and that's who the committee has put forth and recommended. So that's where we're at. I would like to make a couple notes in the agreement that is in front of you guys today. Because of time, and Joe asked if he could get into the track and start cleaning it up and getting it up and going to get a few practice nights. There's some to be determined, specifically what nights he'll practice and operate the track. He would then decide those, and I would put them into the agreement. That plays a part into his lease formula, which we would have to add and do the math on as well, and then he would have to make payment on that and then provide his insurance documents to us. Still are in need of those, but for the most part, that's the only items pending at this time.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
So, he's been vetted. It's an actual business, registered with Secretary of State, not just operating. Can he come up here and talk to us?
Yes.
Come on down.
Hi, Joe.
Thanks for having me. All right. So I officially just submitted my my business name today to the Secretary of State.
Okay.
And I rushed it and they approved it, today.
Oh, good.
So I got that done. So from there, I'll just kind of wait, and I got the insurance going. Submit them a 20-page application for the insurance, and that I submitted yesterday afternoon, and they told me it'll take me approximately about a week and a half, maybe 2 to get that through and going. So now just kind of waiting on this side too to see how I need to push on the insurance and all that stuff as well.
I don't know how the rest of the council body feels, but I would like to see no improvements until you have insurance, just in case something happens. And
Well,
or work done. I
Okay.
mean, if something happens and you don't have insurance, we're liable.
The only thing I was asking was just like to get in there and take a peek. I didn't want to improve nothing, just see where I'm at, because I don't know if you got my email from, I was planning on, just to get access, just to see what I'm gonna, because it's been sitting for over a year, so I don't know exactly what's gonna entail when I get in there. Sprinkler systems, electrical, lighting, see what needs to be, just to see what I'm gonna need. And then actual work wouldn't start until September 24th. Like that week and a half, And by then I should have my insurance.
Yeah, just everything in place, I guess.
Yeah.
So nothing falls through the cracks.
Yeah, and then hopefully having the first practice in October 5th, Thursday, October 5th.
Yeah, good. The kids will love it. It's great to get the track open again.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked to some of my like riding buddies, just like, I'm pretty involved in the motorcycle group, like in Boise, like just surrounding areas. And I've told a couple people, like, hey, looking into getting this track going. Everybody, like, a lot of people are excited. You know, just going back to, you know, the old Thursdays when they used to be open for night practice. They told I was going to try to do Saturdays and Sundays and just try to get it and kind of get it going, running as a business, you know, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Do practices at night on Thursdays and then practices Saturday and Sunday mornings, afternoons.
I guess this is more for Tiffany. Item 3 is the to be determined, the rent amount.
Yeah, that's an exhibit in the contract. It's based on the amount of, is in exhibits.
Yeah, I tried to understand that, and is it clear? It's Exhibit B.
No, that's the insurance one. I didn't see
I didn't see it
the
either.
lease formula in
yeah,
the
I'm
paperwork.
sorry.
That's what I was like, I'm totally missing something here.
Okay, so,
Has Joe seen it? Or the lease formula?
Yeah.
emailed it to Joe. I'm pretty sure maybe I have it in my notes.
I read that too, and I was like, I'm
And I can send it to you also.
missing this.
So long story short, I'm gonna give you a little history here. Is we did a lease formula back when I was in recreation because we had a member of the city council, won't name names, but he didn't like the $5 lease agreements any longer. So what we did is we took we prorated the park reservation fee down to the hour and then down to how many days you would operate within the hours, and we formulated to their operations. And I can most certainly email you all a copy of that, and I'm sorry I didn't include that in here. But that is what would be filled into that, and it's pending the days he would operate out there. And as of, I think Friday morning, we still hadn't confirmed those up. That's why I did it to be determined. And then that lease formula would sit within this as an exhibit. And if, sorry to interrupt, but if he does do a race, then he would have to amend and we'd have to add those agreements in on the races.
Can I clarify one thing? And you may know this already, but this by signing this, he has year-round rights to that facility, and no one else essentially can access it. But he's only going to pay for practice and official races, anything formal that's happening out there, but not for days that are like there's doing track maintenance or, you know, making your hills or whatever it is you do.
It's a full-time job I'm looking at. So, there's going to be some hours out there for sure.
And can I ask you what kind of equipment do you have to take care of the track?
I don't have any at the moment, but I was going to have an excavation company in, just come and refreshing it, and what's there, just refreshing it, just kind of build it back up and maintain it, and then I'll have the tractor with a front loader and a box scraper to maintain the levels, and also a skid steer on tracks to maintain it.
Are you going to buy that stuff, or is that the excavation company?
Well, the excavation company, they'll have theirs to off the get-go to get it built and set up, and then for maintenance, I will have the other equipment.
I'll have it.
Yeah.
You're just going to buy it?
Yeah.
Okay. The one,
you know that during the rodeo, that's the one weekend.
Yeah, that 1 week,
Okay,
which works
yeah.
out perfect too, because normally that last week in June, we take a family vacation, so it makes it perfect.
Like, I was telling that to the racetrack and now you guys.
Yeah.
Councilor Brennan.
Just continuing, in your, I know it's not finalized yet, your insurance policy that you're working on is going to name the city of Mountain Home as a secondary.
As the
additional name.
Yeah, additional name assured, yeah. I got that on there.
And then this is the one thing I dig at every time, and I don't mean anything by it to you, but I don't see any problem with not approving this, but for my own personal comfort, I'm gonna just state on the record that I'm not gonna approve, the use of city equipment to maintain the park, like our own front end loaders, whatever, because that's been a hot topic with me since the beginning, right?
Which
And,
I'll have money.
Okay, and I would hope that you have your own and that the city's not gonna provide it. That's just my hopes.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
Tiffany, I'm sorry, I need clarification on what you said a minute ago. You said that if he holds a meet, not a track meet, we're not talking track meet, a motorcycle race
Yeah, I think so.
on a night other than what's designated, then his rent will increase?
The formula will be calculated, yeah.
So what I'm tracking here is that you're going to bill him monthly based on his usage?
No, so he would establish his practice nights, and we would base the formula off practice. And then more than likely, he won't establish races until he might
Maybe.
in 2024, and he should have those set out in advance in the early year. He would have to have park reservation reserved at the park. He would have to let me know, and then we would we'd do the same formula on his race nights, and then we would add them in. And this
So
is
your
only,
rent could fluctuate then?
yeah,
It's
and this,
fluctuating.
and it's a one-time annual payment, so you'd have to pay them. And this is only a one-time-a-year agreement.
So
every year
who's
we're gonna
going
bring
to
it forward.
mandate that we're not having more races than we have accounted for? I guess that one-time year payment stuff is kind of.
Unfortunately, he has to make sure that the park is able to be reserved. There's a lot of activity out in that park, so he would have to know his dates in advance.
Okay.
To make sure there's, not a rodeo or sand drags or quinceañera.
There's a lot of potential for
There's a lot
that
out there.
racetrack, so
Yeah.
I've seen the past people that raced it. So I just want to know,
Yeah.
just because it's just, this verbiage is just not very clear on the amount of the lease, so.
Councilman Brennan?
Jimmy, what's the reason we're not breaking the park into several segments so they can do multiple things at one time? Is it like the parking collection of money for one entrance, or?
So to answer that is, if Joe were to host motocross race and Sand Drags hosted it, and then I wanted to reserve it for my birthday party, I would probably be a little bit annoyed that I paid to be around all of this special event stuff. And then they charge per head to get into some of their activities under their agreement. So that makes it kind of hard to break out Optimus Park specifically in the way it's laid out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Could we keep open the flexibility if Joe wanted to partner with the sand drag operator and have a major fun event out there, that everybody that comes in, Joe gets half the money, the other guy gets half the money, or whatever?
That was one of the reasons I believe the committee really liked Joe and recommended him, is he saw that vision and that community support and wanting to work with some of those other outside agencies or organizations, excuse me.
All right. Council, what do you guys want to do?
Right, I'm just reading this Exhibit B that we just got.
So this is an example from the lease agreement from 2021. So the previous operator, this is what his formula was.
Sorry, one more.
Go ahead, Councilman Brennan.
Who maintains the records for the release of liability for the individuals?
That's Joe.
Joe. Okay. Joe, would you be amenable to a random spot check every once in a while? To a city staff member comes out there and makes sure that everybody out there has signed a release?
Yeah, we'll have, I've been to many races and many events like that where first thing when you pull up, you don't even get into the gate without signing first, so, I'm used to that, so yeah, if you guys wanted to come check it out.
Would you do that as a daily event signature, or is that how it is, Tiffany?
Yeah.
You're nodding your head. Okay. If that's the case, that's a lot better.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
I make a motion that we approve the City staff recommendation for Joe Garza to operate the city motocross track at Optimist Park.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Yeah, I'm gonna make my vote with a statement in there.
Okay.
Is it, I'll vote aye, with, subtract paragraph 11, subtracting, the last portion after the comma, after, sorry, how do I say this? The last sentence of paragraph 11, striking through everything after the comma. Basically, that means you will not use any city equipment to operate the track.
Correct.
That's my 2 cents, but, yeah.
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
I would like to change my motion. Okay. Let me think this through again. All right, so I would like to make a motion to approve the city recommendation for Joe Garza to operate the city motocross track at Optimist Park. And I would like to go ahead, and I do agree, paragraph 11, definitely take out, if the rest remains, definitely take out with the prior written approval of the mayor, at the very minimum.
With what?
So, lessee shall not use any city equipment, personnel, or other resources in the maintenance or operations of the motocross track, period. Take out without the prior written approval of the mayor. Because we ran into that before, where a lot of city equipment was being used. I think, wasn't it for, yeah, anyway, I do agree. So, I changed my motion, James, if you want to second it.
Let's go ahead and still second it.
Thank you. Thank you for making the efforts.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
excited.
Yeah.
So there's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Green? Aye. Councilman Garvey?
Aye.
All righty.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Reach out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, their next one's the resolution.
All right, run down to number 3. Resolution, action, deliberation, decision approving the lease agreement with Joe Garza and pass resolution 29-2023R. Council?
Mayor,
Councilwoman Garvey?
I make a motion that we approve the lease agreement with Joe Garza and pass resolution number 29-2023R.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Oh,
Councilwoman, you don't have to make with your edits, because I have to edit the
okay,
agreement,
okay,
and
I
then
was gonna say, do I have to say it again?
You're good.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green? Aye. Councilman Brennan?
Mayor, I need a timeout real quick. The difference between item 2 and item 3,
You have to do a resolution to lease your property.
okay, so the resolution is, where's your release agreement? Okay. 3 is the resolution, but it also says, approving the lease agreement. Do we need to make the same edits to this one?
No.
As-
No,
or-
that's what she was just saying, though.
Oh, okay, sorry, that's.
Yep.
Thank you, sorry about that. Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Or did I?
Yeah, you got all of us.
I got y'all. All right. All right, run down to action item number 4, deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts for the annexation of approximately .191 acres of land located northwest Colthrop Drive between Northwest Garrett Avenue, Northwest Jerome Avenue, requested by Gary Tarr on behalf of Harlan Marks. Council, what do you want to do?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
Question for, Rich. What is stated in the annexation agreement for, like getting up to city code with the various things, like curb, gutter, sidewalk, and, like the annexation fee, water rights, that type of stuff?
Mayor, council, all that would be in there. Since there's no sidewalk on his side, although once something matches up to them, then he would have to put something in. But we're just not gonna have sidewalk in the middle, not knowing what the grades are with anything else, so. But that's usually what we do with those.
Will that be assigned,
That's in the.
in the annexation agreement that basically when we come knocking, based on other development, then those items will have to occur. And what happens if they don't occur?
Well, I mean,
Is it what?
truthfully, I mean, we've annexed quite a few things where we haven't even got to there. So I don't know. I'd have to ask our attorney. I'll ask Paul on that, because most of the things we've annexed nothing's ever got contiguous to it, so we had to put something in yet, so.
Paul, what's your opinion?
What's the question again, for Rich?
What's the teeth to an annexation agreement when we defer an item? Like, they have to put curb, gutter, and sidewalk per city ordinance, but there's nothing contiguous to this property to match a curb, gutter, and sidewalk to. So when the time comes and they do have to put it,
Yeah, I guess the only downside to that is that, and something like 2008 happens again, and and the developer goes bankrupt or something to that effect. But the annexation agreement is a binding agreement. If they're agreeing to put in curb, gutter, sidewalk, but we're deferring it. Rich, correct me if I'm misstating this, but you're saying we're deferring it for pun intended, down the road a little bit, because there's nothing to connect to at this time?
That's right.
And so we're waiting on so it's more like a latecomer agreement in a fashion.
is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only piece of property that would be annexed on that side of the road, and everything else is in the county, so. It's like in the middle of the block.
It's just a single resident, Paul.
It just means that when the city does reach them, or when our system goes out there, that they're bound to join in by an agreement. And I suppose I think Councilman Brennan is alluding to is where is the bite in that if they fail to do it. And they're de-annexed, essentially. I mean, that's what the point of the annexation agreement is, that's a consideration for.
Good in theory, but that means that essentially what we hold over their head is water and sewer connection. And we say, well, we're shutting your water off if you don't follow through with the annexation agreement?
Yeah, pretty much. And then now you're doing it to whoever's, again, pun intended, downstream. So not the developer, but whoever's the one buying the lots, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that is the downside to that.
Real quick question on that. Is there also an opportunity where maybe, the city ends up putting it in and then doing a lien on the property?
We do have the 50-50 program that we could, be able to reach out to somebody if they do that. So, but truthfully, we haven't had any of them nothing that we've ever annexed since, even when I was on the council for all that time, we've never hit anything that somebody had to put in, so I don't know.
Mayor.
Hang on 1 second. Paul, Councilman Green asked, can you do a lien on somebody's property? Right?
Yeah, if we had to put it in.
If we had to put it in.
Well, I would prefer to see that in the agreement that we'd be approving right now, saying that one of our available remedies is that if they fail to do it within X amount of time. Rich, just so you know, just go out and dust off a latecomer agreement, and you'll see that language that are in those as a matter of happenstance, that they're required to do they're required to connect at the time that we reach them, and if they don't, we'll do it, and then their property is liened. That's how I would prefer to see it.
Okay. Councilwoman Garvey?
Rich, I apologize. Can you give me a little bit of background of why this is coming up on Harlan?
Yeah, Mayor, Council, he came to the building department and asked if his well was going out. So he didn't want to put in a new well, and he wanted to annex himself and to get city water. So that's all he's gonna get right now.
And he's gonna pay for city service connection, just not curb and gutter.
Yep.
Currently. Okay, so I'm going to be the devil's advocate. This is really hard because I feel terrible for anybody that has to deal with any water issues, as the guys Erica has to deal with. But my question is, and this is a very, very hard question, if we do this for one person, I realize we don't set the precedent, but we somewhat set the precedent as wells start to go dry. I mean, I realize they're just gonna start annexing in, and I just think there needs to be kind of a little bit more firm. That property may be sold to a subdivision, and so maybe they'll put the curb and gutter at that point, but I do agree there needs to be some sort of, a little bit of a more firm, you need to do this by X date.
And we could put.
Because we could end up hodgepodging all over that whole area, really. Technically, that area is suffering water issues, and we could start to not have contiguous land.
Well, it would
Then what
have
do
to,
we do?
it would have to be
I mean,
contiguous.
but I mean, not contiguous, uneven boundaries. Because now we're gonna be forced with the two chiefs in the room going, that's county, that's city, that's, you know.
Yep, and Mayor and Council, and that's hard because, I mean, that whole section is surrounded by the city. So, I mean,
Yeah.
eventually, truthfully, all that's
Yeah,
gonna be in
yep.
the city at some time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the more we annex, that we keep annexing it, the less headache we're going to have later on. So, I mean, that's just kind of my thoughts with that. If this would have been a corner lot, they would have had to put curb and gutter, because they would have been starting the whole
I
thing.
mean, I don't disagree with having one little tiny section of curb and gutter. It looks silly. What's the point of it?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna ruin it when you pave around it. But I think there just needs to be a little bit of a,
We could certainly add something into, you know, I mean, I think what Paul was saying, I think that'd be on.
once annexed in or a property
That'd be on
around
number
you.
5.
Yeah.
If you look at number 5 on the decisions and recommendations of the facts, says the owner annexation delays sidewalk, curb and gutter until development reaches the property, and then if they don't do it, then I guess that's where you put the language to have something that the city has the right to do it and put a lien on your property, something like that, I guess.
Even if it doesn't say until develop, oh, sorry, Paul. Even if it doesn't say until development reaches the property, but I mean, even if there's something right next door to them annexed in, then we're beginning to create a walkway.
I think, looking at all the engineering, I mean, because obviously I'm not an engineer, but talking with everybody, the corners where we have to start that. So once something gets to a corner, then it's gonna trigger everybody going down. So that's kind of how that works.
Okay.
Then you can start, because then you can do, yeah. But I understand where you guys are coming from.
You don't want to start in the middle of the block.
Well, it's just gonna be like Century 21, and then the little tiny house next door, and then the rest, you know, yeah, it just kind of looks funky.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
Rich, was I picking up what you're putting down? Is they're only asking for water and not wastewater?
That was my understanding right now, because he has, you know, and unless,
West Side Sewer.
he's on West Side Sewer, and he wants, yeah.
Okay, sorry. It's not a septic at all.
I forgot that he's on West Side Sewer.
West Side Sewer still gets into our area.
Yep.
Paul, can I ask your opinion on keeping one on city and one on another group?
Well, I mean, it's fine. I would be against if there was a septic system. You can make it part of an annexation agreement that upon contiguity, it would trigger the curb gutter and sidewalk, and it would also trigger them joining our system completely. You are well within your power to do that. Because if we're providing them water now, then upon contiguity, we can require them to be part of our city, and then they're going to, if you're going to annex into our city at some later time, maybe we don't want them to be splitting the services up. And so we're well within our rights to do that. I'm curious, that is a legal answer, but the practical answer, Rich may have more to add to that.
Mayor, Council, that's one thing we're really trying to figure out. I think Paul sat in some of these meetings with the West Side Sewer. We're really trying to figure out how all that triggers. And I mean, what the contract, or, you know, we've signed different contracts with them. So is that how it is that I'm gonna tell you, my interpretation is if you annex in, you are annexing out of West Side Sewer. That's my interpretation of that agreement. So
mine too.
And so we're kind of right in there. We're trying to work with theirs to make to make everybody kind of happy how that is. And, we're not trying to be the bully and start taking all of their revenue from their district, but that's my understanding how that's written, and as Paul's been kind of trying to work with their new attorney to figure things out, so we're kind of right there. So I don't know, he certainly needs the water. The wastewater's already going through theirs. We are getting money from them. It's just not going right from, because he's paying Westside and Westside pays us. So I mean, we do get the money from it, but so that's a decision that I think you guys have to make with that. But I can't make it. But
I'm 100% on board with the annexation. Like that area, right, is eventually going to get taken in, and if they want to request it themselves, that's that much better. I don't want to split it though. I think we bring them in with water and with wastewater, and I think that's just the easier way to handle that.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey?
Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, the process, when you bring water to him, you're gonna have to cut the road anyway.
Mhm.
Okay, so why wouldn't we go ahead and cut it once, and then not in the future, if West Side Sewer begins to go?
sewer's already there. We don't
West
have to
Side
cut,
already
we don't have, he already has a tap in.
Oh, yes, you're right, okay.
I agree with Councilman Brennan. If you're gonna annex yourself, you need to be part of city service. And we already take care of it anyways. We already clean it or camera it, eventually, you're right. They're all gonna possibly come in if you're gonna annex yourself in, so.
What I'm not hearing, if you guys could both clarify, is are you saying that they will connect to sewer when they connect to water, which is earlier than when they are contiguous and then they're annexed in? So is it at annexation stage, which is later, or is it upon receiving water services, you would transfer to us for sewer services as well?
They're annexing, he's annexing in, so it would be now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. If you're annexing now, then it has to happen now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Council.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan.
I want to make a motion to approve annexation contingent upon the annexation agreement having, I'd like the council's help on this, like 6 months to complete any deferred item when the city asks for it to be done.
Say that again.
Like we're gonna defer the curb gutter sidewalk, and maybe there's other things, because I don't have the annexation, the full agreement, do I, in front of me? I don't think so. So
Pretty much the same as the,
anything that's deferred, then we have to give him
6 months once requested.
6 months from the request date to comply.
Okay.
And if he fails to do it, we may do it ourselves and put a lien on the property. That would be my motion.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Garvey.
Okay, so Councilman Brennan, you're saying 6 months from once something is starting to develop around him? Okay, I think
once
that's
the
a
sidewalk
fair date.
reaches his side of the
Yeah.
property, he can connect to
Yeah.
it. Yes, they have 6 months.
Okay, I think that's fair, yeah.
Is 6 months the
Then he-
appropriate amount of time?
I think so.
Because then he has the time to, hopefully he'll start figuring out the cost now, and, okay, I agree with that.
Well,
Is 6, I'm just afraid in getting sidewalk, we can't get curb and gutter.
I know,
down
that's what,
Fifth.
I mean, I think if we put 6 months, but if it's a scheduling problem, we just bring, I think that's something we can work
But
with,
it's,
Bring back to
would be a
council.
smaller,
It gives
Fifth
it a-
is a huge project, where
Yeah.
Colthorpe and Tyndall, or Jerome would be a,
I'm just saying, I don't want it
would be
to,
a U-20 size project.
yeah,
or
I don't
whatever.
want it to penalize him
Yeah.
if he can't get
We
a
could figure that
contractor
out. The
on
council
site.
can make, we're gonna obligate the future council. The council can make a decision.
I like that.
Yes, we'll obligate them to make a
Okay.
decision. at
Then
that
probably if somebody's, what's probably gonna happen too, I mean, if it starts triggering that way, they're gonna probably get a big package deal with the whole
Yes,
thing,
right.
so.
I agree.
I think that's what we can.
Perfect.
And Mayor, my
You
motion.
might want to add that then, Rich, to say in the earlier of either 6 months from when there is the triggering event, you there, or as reasonably directed by the city. You might want to have that, because if Rich comes forward and saying, no, we're going in front of this person's house on this day, because that's when the contractor will be there, because that's when the house next door, i.e. when that domino drops, then we have to keep going from the corner. Maybe it's going to be earlier than 6 months. And so we can't have it be delayed by we can't have a leapfrog scenario, so you might want to have an either or, and then have it be the earlier of either a 6-month period or as reasonably directed by the city.
I'm sure you could write that up just like you said.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And since I'm on the phone, I'm sure Stephanie can just take dictation, right?
I am.
Okay.
Send you
So
the draft.
Councilmember Brandon, you want to?
I just want to make sure my motion included that sewer is part of that now, as legal also suggested.
And then you got it to where it's 6 months or reasonable when you do a development over there.
Reasonably requested by the city.
Yeah, reasonably requested by the city. Okay, so there's a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Green. All right. That was number 4. Let's run down to action item number 5. Deliberation decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation of findings of facts to zone R4 approximately 0.191 acres of land located in northwest Colthorpe between Northwest Garrett Avenue, Northwest Jerome Avenue, requested by Gary Toller on behalf of Harlan Marks. Council?
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan.
I make a motion to approve the R4 zone, just R4 zoning for this action.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan. Councilman Garvey.
Aye.
All right, let's run down to action item number 6.
Mayor,
Councilman Green.
I will make a motion to approve a prepay payment of $512,000 to A&T Europe SPA for City Aquatic Facility.
Do I hear?
Second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, other than thank you. Helps us expedite this process for the pool. Tiffany and I, thank you. Citizens will thank you. With that, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Green. Aye. Okay. All right, we'll run down to ordinances. Ordinance 1781, annexation of property owned by Michael Fair, SRP LLC.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan.
What's the process here? To approve or to read?
Here.
Oh, there you go, sorry.
That's right.
I make a motion that we, I'm gonna read it 3 different times. I'm just kidding. Make a motion that we suspend the 3 reading rule, read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
Been motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Tiffany, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 1781, an ordinance annexing to the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, the real property hereinafter described and declaring the same by proper legal description thereof to be part of said city of Mountain Home, Idaho, and providing an effective date.
Council, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Garvey.
Aye.
Run down to action item number 2, ordinance 1782, vacating a portion of Falcon Crest subdivision number 1.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan.
Make a motion we suspend the 3 reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Tiffany, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 1782, an ordinance of the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, vacating a portion of Falcon Crest subdivision 1 in the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, described herein and providing an effective date.
Council, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilwoman Garvey.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Run down to ordinance number 3, action item, ordinance 1783, zone C4 property, air-based commons, mixed-use PUD.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan.
Make a motion we suspend the 3 reading rule, read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
Second. It's been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Tiffany, please read ordinance 1783.
Ordinance 1783, an ordinance of the City of Mountain Home, Idaho, declaring the real property hereinafter described to be C4 Air Base Commons mixed-use PUD zone, subject to limitations of allowed use, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewithin, and provide an effective date.
Council, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Alrighty. Run down to recognized person in the audience. Would anybody like to get up and speak? Alright, with that, anything, council?
Yeah.
Councilman Brennan?
Can I ask for your help with getting some more attention with code enforcement on the tree branch clearances throughout the city? There's starting to be a whole lot of like blocked vision triangles in intersections.
You bet.
Also, can we get an update on the replacement of Brock, where we're at there?
Yes, right now, I've got poor Chris doing, what is it?
Triple duties.
Triple duties, double duties, right now. We actually even solicited, what was it? Had Daniel put out an ad for it to, what association was it? I know it was Planning and Zoning, but it was also APA.
Yes.
And nothing.
How long ago was that?
2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? So, if you know any community development directors or planning and zoning directors, or I guess it's a quasi economic development director, send them our way. But I'll say this, Chris has picked it up pretty quick. He's done a great job, and I appreciate it. So he's run with it, and he's building relationships. So far, he's doing a great job. Okay,
Mayor.
Councilman Green.
So we got our report back from True Club Solutions. So I want to invite anybody that has any comments or just wants to sit in on the golf course contract work session. It is tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else? Meeting adjourned.